My name is Maxine Somov. I compete in bikini. I've done a few shows now. My first show was a few years ago. I actually placed 4th at my first show, so I was able to move on to provincials last year. Didn't place at provincials, just missed it, 6th place. So then I did a show right away and ended up winning overall bikini at Night of Champions. And now I'm prepping for my 4th show, which is going to be provincials this summer.
My name is Mike Tobiason, and basically, just a BCA, BBA bodybuilder, personal trainer, group fitness instructor, you name it, spin instructor, all kinds of credentials. I've been personal training for about 4 years now. It's been about 3.5 years since I've competed, so just kind of getting myself back into that again. After my last show, I thought that there were some things I needed to improve, so I obviously wanted to take a step back from that scene and just sort of focus on work and that. But now I'm decided to get kind of back into the competing thing again.
The reason I compete, it all started going to his first show. I was into working out and stuff and nutrition a little bit, but I just kind of tagged along to his workouts and everything that he was doing. And I went to watch his show, and of course, not only just his class, but I watched the bikini competitors and everyone. And when I saw the bikini girls on stage, I was like, wow, like they look amazing. That's so much dedication. It's so crazy, and they're all glammed up, and I just thought it was so cool. But I didn't know when I would actually do it. I just knew that it was something I was interested in. And then it was a couple years later that one summer I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm actually gonna do a show. And got my first coach and everything, and I finally did it. For me, it's just a lot of how it makes me feel. Because in my past, when I was in high school and beginning of university and stuff, I went through a lot of issues with like body dysmorphia and like compulsive exercising and eating disorders and like just things like that. And I feel like fitness and competing and having a goal to strive towards like a show and stuff like that has just really helped me mentally overcome those things, even though of course, there is a lot of body dysmorphia involved in competing as well, because you're never lean enough and you're never shredded enough, but I just think that it's helped me a lot overcome those things. I want to be a pro as well, and I want to make it a career at the same time, but the reason I got into it in the first place is because of the issues that I was having. Fitness has been in my life for a really long time. I mean, I've always been really competitive as well, like sports and stuff. Used to do horseback riding, won provincial championship with that. So I guess it's just another thing that I'm like, okay, well, since I'm doing it, I gotta do it competitively.
My personal reason for competing, when I first did my show, I knew nothing about the sport. When I first did the show, I prepped myself, I did all my diet, my nutrition, my training. I was still fairly new to the personal training thing, so, I knew everything that I thought I needed to know, but I had no idea what competing was about. So when I did the show, it was fine. I placed, I think, 6th out of 15 people in my class, which was fine, but I just wasn't there to come 6th. I wanted to win, but at the same time, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I wasn't upset about it. It was great. It was a good learning experience, and I met some cool people. But once again, I knew there was a lot of room for improvement. After that show, it kind of deterred me from competing because I noticed a lot of people in the industry, they'll do show after show after show after show, and they won't change. They won't make these changes, and it's like they're doing it because maybe they want an Instagram picture of their abs or because it's something their friends do. But I see these people do 5-6 shows a year and they're placing 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th last, but then they proceed and do a show 2 months later again with the same exact look. And so I didn't like that, and I didn't think that was me, because I knew I placed 6th at my show. If I had done a show 2 months later, I was probably not going to place 1st. So I kind of said, forget the whole competing thing. I don't really care. I enjoy working out. It's my passion. So I'm a bodybuilder at heart, whether I'm on a stage or not. Of course, that was something I wanted to proceed to do in the near future. Again, I just didn't really know when. I figured go back to the drawing board, when I can, build up a professional physique, or at least a physique I deem professional, then I'll get back on stage and do it, because I do want to, become a pro one day at what I do, and it's going to give me more credibility and just look better on a resume for anything else personal training wise. People come to me because I'm a pro. The name pro, it speaks for itself. So that's my reasoning. Why not show off your hard work and all the dedication and hours of the gym and food prep and all that stuff that you've been putting in? Why not go and show it off on stage? It's not for a plastic trophy at the end of the day. That's what a lot of people like to do it for, or an Instagram picture, but it's for the end goal, right? These are little stepping stone shows to kind of get us to where we need to be to potentially further our career. I've always been into fitness. I've played sports competitively since I was young, from team sports to individual sports like kickboxing and things like that. I was always in shape, but appearance-wise, I was never too concerned about it. I was just always, cardiovascular-wise, I was always healthy and fairly strong for being like a smaller kid. So all the sports, I played, I excelled in competitively. And then I guess it just kind of took it to the point of where I started working out when I realized I kind of wanted to gain a little bit of muscle. I was, this was after high school, shortly after like the partying, realized, that's not for me. I kind of would rather take a healthier approach to it. So it wasn't until really, I guess, I started lifting weights just kind of casually here and there. I furthered it by wanting to become a personal trainer. So it was more or less, I guess, after I got my certification and all that from being a personal trainer. And then, once again, I kind of took it to another level. I enjoyed working out so much, and just being a part of the industry, you sort of are dragged into the competitive side of the industry, and you at least learn or hear or see about it one way or another. So that kind of drew me to it as well. Always, like bodybuilders. So I guess it was kind of just a matter of being a personal trainer that sort of, I guess, started off this whole competing thing, because I just wanted to continuously get better and make progress and basically never slow down.
I'm in school in food and nutrition, and I'm trying to get into the dietetics program to become a dietitian. I knew I wanted to become a dietitian before I even started competing in the sport, but pretty much I want to be a dietitian because I want to work in this industry, even become a contest prep coach, personal trainer. But I want to bring the expertise of a registered dietitian to the field. There's so many nutritionists and coaches that just have a lot of experience in the field, giving meal plans and everything and advice to their clients, but they're not a dietitian. And there's a big difference between having a nutritionist diploma or just knowledge in nutrition and actually having a dietetics degree, because becoming an RD, registered dietitian, just the science behind it, and I can use that knowledge so well to help people in this sport. People don't really understand, I don't think, how hard it really is, the journey to the stage, if you're doing it properly. Like, it's not like it's a few days of hard work or a few weeks of hard work. It's like months and months of every second of every single day eating what you're supposed to eat, going to the gym when you don't want to, missing social outings with friends, missing things with family. Like, you have to sacrifice a lot, and it's just very rewarding and satisfying when you actually complete it how you wanted to. A day in my life, for example, Fridays, I would go to school in the morning. I had class starting right at 8 a.m., so I was up at 6 in the morning. Had to make sure that I ate my breakfast before I left, whatever it was, oats and protein powder or something like that. Then I had to make sure I had my meals ready the night before that I was going to bring with me to class. Then get to school, make sure I find a microwave while I'm on campus, microwave my food, get it in, have also a cold pack to keep it cold while I'm there and everything. Then I'd have to go home, make sure I get my workout in before I have to go to work. Plan enough time around that, go home and shower, get ready for work. Then I would go to work, have to bring my meals, make sure they're already ready to go, bring them, and not eat the burgers and fries and everything else that's at my work that everyone else is eating, and sit in the back and eat the meals that I've brought with me and stick to those. And then, it's just a lot of planning goes into the lifestyle, which it's not for everyone. There's a lot of sacrifices.
We both have a certain maintenance amount of calories, macro and micronutrients as well, that we have to intake in a day to meet our goals, whether it's being, in a deficit and losing weight for a contest, or to grow muscle in an off season. One way or another, you have to have a certain requirement of protein, fat, carbs, and other various micronutrients in there as well. And everybody is different. There's formulas you can use to crunch numbers and actually figure this out for yourself. Obviously all depending on activity level and things like that as well, and metabolism. But you can use that, and then basically you need to find out, how much it is that you need to be eating and what's going to put you in a deficit, what's a surplus, what is roughly your maintenance calories. And then you go from there, and then basically you would prep meals around that. So we eat completely healthy. There's no flexible dieting. You have to be very meticulous with it, because at the end of the day, food and nutrition, that's going to be the make or break deal of how you make progress. Of course, training is a huge thing, but at the end of the day, an hour workout or a 2-hour workout of lifting weights, that's actually the easy part. It's, the other 22, 23 hours in the day that you have to make sure you're watching what you eat, you have to drink enough water, you have to rest enough. So it's all these different variables that kind of come into taking us to where we need to be, whether that is to the stage or whether it's to put on new muscle in an off season. But basically it all starts out with nutrition.
I think the biggest shock for me getting into the industry is how specific you have to be with your portions and your diet when you're prepping. Like, for example, my first show definitely did not stick to my plan perfectly, but I thought I was. But it makes a difference if you have 100 grams of rice or if you have 115 grams of rice, So I think that that's something that a lot of people don't realize. That was something that shocked me, was how specific you really do have to be when you're prepping for a show. You can't just pick any protein and eat it, and any carb and eat it. There's different types of carbs, healthier carbs, unhealthier carbs, healthy fats, unhealthy fats.
You can have 8 ounces of chicken breast, and that's going to be fairly lean protein with minimum fat in it whatsoever. But some people might say, oh yeah, I'm going to have 8 ounces of chicken thigh. And little do they know it's way bigger or way higher fat content in it, so it's not quite the same. And those are little things that you need to know about the food that you intake.
It's just a lot of planning. Make sure you get cardio in, your workout in, have your meals with you, bring them with you, bring coolers with you, have a microwave. Sometimes I eat my meals cold if there's no microwave, but you just gotta do what you gotta do. I want my coach to be like, wow, you made a lot of progress, like, good job, I don't want to get there. And my coach to be like, oh, well, you obviously didn't stick to your plan. When I did my first show, I pretty much just Googled bikini competitor coach or contest prep coach in Vancouver, and I just found someone and trained with them. And after one prep, I was like, I don't think this is gonna work out with this coach. Nothing against that coach or anything. Great learning experience and stuff, but it just wasn't for me. Then, since I was already in the industry and I had done a show and I knew more people, I had already heard about my current coaches, Lee and Dean Brandt. Since Lee, she's actually an IFBB Bikini Pro, so she helps me out a lot with my posing and everything, and obviously she's a pro, so she's amazing and knows exactly what she's doing, stage presence, posing, makeup, hair, bikini, all that important stuff for me. It's great to have somebody who's in that field and who's actually a pro that can help me with that kind of stuff. And then Dean is more on the nutrition aspect of it and helping with the meal plans and workouts and stuff like that, and dialing in water intake and that kind of stuff before the show. Finding a coach, there's so many ways to do it. Like, ask questions about nutrition knowledge, just the science behind it, not just what am I supposed to eat, but why am I eating this? What is this doing inside my body? What is this doing to my body? How are these carbs getting processed? You want them to actually know the science behind what they're telling you to eat. That's, I think, the number one important thing. Look at their credentials, like their actual credentials. Do they have a degree? Do they have a diploma? Do they have, what did they go to school for? Do they actually have actual credentials to show you instead of just life experience? And then on top of that, life experience. How many years have they been coaching? How many clients have they trained? Things like that.
it's good to have a second set of eyes, because at the end of the day too, we are our own worst critics. So even as close as we get to the show, kind of playing into that whole body dysmorphia thing as well, you start to get lean. But like for me, I was 230 pounds a few months back, and now I'm 175. In my head, I'm shrinking away into nothing, but I've actually grown lean muscle mass throughout the course of this prep up until recently. So it does play with your head a little bit. You start to get leaner, you feel like you shrink down. You know, you're holding a lot of water from a cheat meal, you feel like you're fat and you gain body fat.
So when you're coming into a competition, there's a lot of stuff that you need to think about. So obviously different for men and women, because hair and makeup and everything, but I'll start for a bikini competitor point of view. So way out, a few weeks back, most important thing, you need to register for the BCA-BBA, so that's the British Columbia Association of Bodybuilding here. So you have to register yourself into that before you can even register for a show. Then you have to find your show, register for your show. Costs money. So budgeting is really important. For example, signing up for the BCA-BBA is $100. Signing up for the show is $100. Signing up for an additional category in the show is $50. Then you have to make sure that you have a hotel booked close to wherever your show is. Usually the shows are on Saturday or could be on Sunday. For example, the show I'm doing, which is the Vancouver Pro-Am show, it's on Saturday and Sunday. But most shows are just on Saturday, so you'd want to book the hotel for definitely Friday night and Saturday night. For a girl, you want to get a bikini to wear, and it's those things, you can get one for $100 and you can get one for $3,000. Usually you have to do that about 6 weeks before, because you want to get fitted, then they make the basic suit, then you go back, choose what crystals you want on it, choose your connectors, pay as you go, because it gets pretty expensive if you're getting a custom made suit. And then you want to go in a couple weeks before the show for a final fitting to make sure that it still fits, because you're going to change size from when you're 8 weeks, 6 weeks out to when you're 2 weeks out. You want to make sure you have jewelry to wear on stage, some like nice little earrings, a bracelet, a ring. So then you want to book your hair and makeup. So if you were doing a show, you'd want to book with a company to do your hair, tan, makeup. So what happens is you get your first coat of tan on the Friday before the show, and then you come back on the Saturday morning, the day of the show, and get a second tan, and then your hair and makeup and everything.
Pretty much everything is kind of slow and steady for the first few weeks, depending on where you start your prep. It's totally different for guys. For me, obviously no makeup. I basically sign up for my show, I sign up for the membership. You have to go to posing practices, the supplements you pay for, and then you get close to the show, and then I book a tan. I have to get my classic physique or my bodybuilding posing trunks. But the biggest costs and whatnot and things you gotta always stay on top of is gonna be your food and nutrition. Biggest cost and thing to stay on top of. You know, coach obviously you pay for. You have to practice your posing, so that's something that you gotta do daily. Always have to practice. So yeah, that's just, I guess, a couple of the other things. You always have to stay on top of it all, though.
People don't think that posing is important, but it really is. I've done 4 shows and people always tell me my posing is perfect. That's like the thing that I get compliments on. Yet I'm in the gym every single day trying to practice my posing, in the mirror in the bathroom practicing my posing. You have to think about after the show too, because a lot of people, when they after they finish a show, they kind of go a little overboard, start eating whatever they want for weeks on end after the show. First of all, it's not good for your body. Secondly, you're not going to be happy with your rebound, because since you're in a deficit for so long, your body's also going to rebound really badly. So you have to really think about even hiring a coach for your reverse diet after your show. People think that once the show's done, it's done. It's like, yeah, if you want to gain 20 pounds in 2 days, but you really do have to think about it after the show, because otherwise you will blow up a lot. The easiest part about competing is definitely show day. You just gotta not be nervous and not be stressed out and just try to enjoy it.
However long it is you prep for, you've suffered, you've dieted, you've hated all the white fish, everything that you've worked for that whole time, you just get to enjoy that day, because you get to start eating things that you didn't get to eat for those 20 weeks. You get to have a cheat meal that night. And, in all honesty, it's like you work so hard for these 20 weeks, you're on stage for 2 minutes. And the thing is the 2 minutes goes by even quicker. You're on stage for 2 minutes, but it feels like 20 seconds. The stage lights are on you. You don't really see anyone in the crowd. It's just a flick of a switch and it's over with and you're backstage again. hardest part, I guess, about competing would definitely be the diet. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy eating clean. I love eating healthy. It makes my body feel better. As much as I do enjoy eating clean, I love chicken, I love broccoli, I love white rice. The fact now for me is like I'm getting so depleted and so low at this point that I don't even want to get like a pizza. I just wish instead of say having 6 ounces of chicken with half of a cup of white rice, I could have like 2 cups of white rice with 10 ounces of chicken.
That would be amazing. If you're doing this, you should enjoy working out. So obviously I enjoy it, but up until the last few weeks before the show, that's when the workouts actually start getting hard because you are so depleted and you are so hungry and you're so low body fat and everything, just low carbs, that it is very hard to get that workout done and to put 110% effort. So yes, the workouts are definitely hard, but for me, not really until the last few weeks before the show. The diet's definitely the hardest. And I'd say another thing that's the hardest part about competing would be missing out on things because of dieting. I'm not like a big party person, like I don't want to go out every weekend and party and stuff, but when I'm prepping for a show and my friends are like, oh, we're all going downtown tonight and we're gonna go out for dinner and have a glass of wine and like, or whatever they're doing, and I can't go, I'm like, oh, like I want to go. But I mean, I wouldn't trade my lifestyle for that. Like I love prepping for shows, but it definitely is hard sometimes, especially when you're tired and hungry and you're like, oh my god, I just want to go out and have a burger. My Instagram is kind of a long story. So it started out as when I was going through my eating issues and body dysmorphia and everything. Except it was kind of when I was already recovering from it that I started my Instagram, and I more started it because I wanted to be accountable for myself. And then there's a huge community for like eating disorder recovery and stuff on Instagram, and I'm sure on a lot of other social media. So pretty much I would just post pictures of my food and post pictures of my workouts and my progress and stuff. I just found that it helped me a lot with, I guess, recovering, if you want to call it that. And it started off 100 followers, 200 followers, 300 followers, whatever. And then I have no idea what even happened. I guess I got a few shout outs on some bigger pages. And then one day I had like 10,000 followers. And I don't know what I really did specifically. I had so many messages from so many girls like telling me I inspire them or that I motivate them or that I help them overcome their eating issues and all these things. And I was pretty much just really excited that I was able to help other people. And it, I guess, continued to grow and grow. To me, it's not just social media. It's not just about showing myself off online or whatever, as much as some people probably think that. It's my business. For example, a lot of the modeling jobs that I've gotten have been because of Instagram. Companies see me, oh, hey, do you want to model for our brand? That's business for me. That's my job. So for me to be posting on social media is actually progressing my own business. A lot of people, like, I guess I get sometimes people ask me, oh, like, why are you posting like half naked pictures online, or why are you posting progress pictures? Or it's not about actually posting pictures of my body. It's about showing people that you can make progress, or showing people that anything is possible. And then also, again, with my brand and marketing and job opportunities and modeling opportunities and stuff. And it's been a really important platform for me for that kind of thing. There is definitely a lot of companies that try to get me to promote their products or sponsor me or have me as a brand ambassador and things like that. And I reject it because I'm not gonna post about something or talk about something that I don't believe in. Like, for example, body wraps and stuff like that. I've had messages from that kind of a thing, and they're like, oh, do you want to try our body wrap, but you need to post about it? And I'm like, no, because I'm not going to try and say that I get my body from a body wrap. I wouldn't promote anything that I don't believe in. So even if a company is trying to give me free stuff, I'm not going to promote the free stuff if I don't think that it's something that I actually believe in, that I want people to try out as well. Girls message me on Instagram and they're like, oh, I want to, like, you have my goal body, I want to look like you. And I'm like, no, You don't. I have no life when I'm prepping for a show. Like, that's impossible. It's like so not sustainable. It's so not healthy. Like, I hate when girls want to look like bikini competitors because, yeah, for sure, if you want to compete, but you shouldn't look like that. It's really hard because, yeah, I do look the way I do, but it's not normal. It's not healthy in the long run. It's not sustainable. It's not a look that any girl should just aspire to look like. I look like this because I'm prepping for a show, because my diet is very strict, because I have no social life or life outside the gym. And it's really hard when girls want to look like that. And then I tell them, I'm like, honestly, you shouldn't aspire to look like this unless you are competing or are going to be on stage or are doing a photo shoot or something like that. Otherwise, it's just not realistic. I don't look like this all the time. Like, yes, I do stay lean in my off season, but it's not the same. Competing isn't healthy. And it sucks because it's a health industry and the fitness industry, but it's not healthy prepping for a show. Yeah, it is when you're farther out and stuff, but the last like 6 weeks before your show, it's not healthy. You're in a deficit. You're probably not getting all your vitamins unless you're taking a supplement. You're like eating way too little calories. You're training way too hard. Like it's your body fat's too low. Like, women stop getting their periods and stuff before shows usually if your body fat gets low enough. Like, it's not healthy, and you shouldn't want to look like that unless your goal is to be on stage.
People that say that to me as well. Oh man, you know what? This is the best you've ever looked. Like, I want to look like you. And my simple answer to people who say that is like, you'll never look like me. There's never a chance, like there's not even a remote chance that you're going to ever look anything like me, because every single person is different. Everybody's 100% different, whether it's muscle fiber displacement in your body, like all over the place, you know, where you store fat, everybody's predisposed to store it differently. Ab structure, genetics is a huge factor in it, and not one gene is the exact same as the next opponent. You'll never look like me. So what you want to do is just envision what you could take your physique to, or how you could make your physique look. No one guy or girl walks around at 4% body fat just on average and considers that healthy. That's a completely deprived state. You see the person on the magazine and they're 3% body fat at 280 pounds of pure muscle mass. And you want to look like the person, and they're promoting, you know, this Vega drink or this protein powder or whatever it is. The biggest misconception is on these magazines, people want to look like them so badly, but people don't stop to realize that that person's on that magazine because they had just done a show maybe the day before or after. They're literally the peak of their conditioning, shape, everything. They look like that for maybe 2 days of the whole year. They dieted so hard, they did probably a show right around that time, so they're at the lowest body fat percent, the lowest amount of water retention, everything. They literally are in the peak of their condition, and they do the photo shoot, you know, just maybe with fake weights where it looks like they're squatting like 8,000 pounds when they're 0% body fat, when really their body would just crumble into nothing. My personal opinion, if I were to recommend anybody to compete, I would make sure that they have a pretty good foundation of, you know, working out or understanding working out, and also nutrition, because I mean, as much as, you know, a coach is helpful and beneficial and you have that second set of eyes and they basically will do your meal plan or your training or whatever, I would never recommend somebody to blindly just listen to anyone. It's not a good idea to just blindly listen to what a coach says, because ultimately you know your body better than anybody else. You know, so what a coach tells you may not be best for you. You may know absolutely different, you know, than what they do. So take everything kind of with a grain of salt is how I would say to go about it. And just because like a coach tells you to do it, you know, ask questions, things like that. Don't do it if you don't have a passion for working out. Like if you're, oh shit, I gotta go to the gym and work out, then you're already in the wrong zone. I'm grateful that I can get up every single day and go and try to better myself, you know, by doing cardio or by lifting weights or things like that. So I'm fortunate that I can do that, and not many people can, you know. Some people may not have the capability of actually being able to go lift weights in a gym. Nobody's forcing whitefish down my throat. Nobody's making me eat broccoli and rice. If it's not something you truly enjoy to do from all ends of that spectrum, it's just going to put you into pain and suffering.
Know what you're getting into and know how hard it really is to actually dedicate your whole life to a show. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna work out hard and eat well this summer and do a show at the end of the summer. It's like, unless you are gonna be one of those people that just steps on stage not looking great, like you really have to be dedicated, and it really does consume your life. So like, unless you want to like further your career, like if you don't want to further your career in the sport and you're not 100% dedicated and 100% down with it and just willing to give up your life and everything, I'd say probably don't compete. I don't need to find the motivation. I have the motivation. I want to go to the gym. Oh, how do you go to the gym every day after work? Aren't you tired? Yes, but I want to do it. Obviously, I have a lot of friends who are in the fitness community, but most of my friends are like more people I've known for a while. They might go to the gym and stuff, but they're obviously not at the same level of, they don't compete and stuff, so they don't really understand. And of course, people that I work with don't understand. Parents don't always understand. We do get judged really hard, and I'm not trying to say, oh, feel bad for us, but we definitely face a lot of criticism for like the lifestyle we choose and stuff. And like even our parents, like, don't get us wrong, like our parents are super supportive and everything, like nothing wrong with them at all, but even my parents look at me sometimes when I'm prepping for a show and they're like, whoa, like you've gotten way too skinny. And it's not like I'm skinny, like I have muscle and everything too, but it's just what other people see when they look at people in this lifestyle, especially close to a show. Definitely judgment. But you think that if I gain 50 pounds and I went home to my parents, they would say, whoa, you got fat. No, they would not. You see a picture on social media, it's like a curvier girl, and there's comments that say, oh, this is what a real body looks like. And I'm like, that is like the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. Every body's a real body. If you're fat, you have a real body. If you're anorexic, you have a real body. You can't just tell somebody that because they're not 20% body fat that they're not beautiful and that they're not sexy, and you can't tell somebody just because they're not lean that they're not sexy and that they're not beautiful.
It's absolutely wrong for anyone to fat shame somebody, and I'm not supporting that. I don't think anybody should be shamed for anything they do. What you choose to do in life is up to you, and I'm not going to judge anybody for anything that they choose to do in life. That being said, we still get judged. We get judged for the most simple, insignificant things in life that don't affect anybody else except us. Nothing, it doesn't affect anybody, but yet you guys can judge us and hate on us for what we do. You know, in between sets, I'm hitting a pose 2 weeks out from the show, trying to squeeze the bicep, trying to see how it looks, visualize it. But to 90% of the gym, when they see me do that, even though I'm doing it in my own confidence, I'm not looking for anybody to see me, I'm this arrogant, dick just trying to make a scene in front of everybody. Just by being in the gym and having more vascularity, being leaner, having more muscle mass, training the way I do, pouring sweat head to toe, people just presume I'm some like asshole, just this guy who takes steroids and just looks like that because of that. And it's like, it just is all these like misconceptions that people just like put on you for no reason. A profile, basically. That's just all it is.
My next show is the Vancouver Pro-Am show. So pretty much it's an expo and show that's happening at the Vancouver Convention Center. Pretty much it's the pro show. So that's the type of show that only pros can compete at, mixed with BC Provincial. It's just a mixed show, big expo. There's like booths set up and like model search contests and like strongman contests. It's just like a big event, which is really a lot of fun. So I'm doing that show. I'm going to be on stage on the Sunday. Place well provincials, I could go to nationals next year and win overall, get my pro card next year. But I mean, again, it also depends what other girls look like. It depends what I look like. Depends if the judges like my look. Depends for bikini, especially. There's so many factors. This color of your bikini, the style of your bikini, the color of your hair, your hairstyle, your makeup, your posing, your body in general. Like it's just, there's so many factors. Like some people get super lucky or have good genetics and just put in the effort and look really good, get their pro card first time they go to nationals. It's possible if you look good enough, but could also take 10 years. I know people who are 40, 50 years old who have been competing their whole lives and are been to nationals tens of times and still don't have their pro card. For me, if I go into each show and I can compare my stage shots from both shows and I look better every show that I do, then I'm happy no matter what my placing is because I improved. In 10 years, I definitely want to have my pro card. I want to be a pro. That means, so for Canada, to become an IFBB pro, I would have to win my class in nationals, and then I'd have to win overall bikini at nationals. So I'd have to be first place in Canada for bikini. So it is very hard to get your pro card in Canada, but I feel like, and definitely in 10 years, I want to have it. That's a huge goal. And also I definitely want to be a registered dietitian. Those are like my two top things. In 10 years, I want to be able to step on stage just like I do right now, except look 10 times better than I do right now. Like when I'm 40, I want to be able to still step on stage. Like this isn't just a phase, which I feel like it is for a lot of other people. For us, we know this is what we want to do with our lives. We know that this is our passion, and it's not just something that we're interested in now. It's going to be something that we're interested in 5 years, 10 years.
There's no ceiling. I'm never going to say I know everything. I'm never going to say I've learned it all. Your physique, your knowledge, your everything is always constantly expanding. You're always learning more if you're open-minded. Basically just kind of wraps up like a little bit of insight on the competitive side of our lifestyle, the nutrition, the fitness, the working out, all that kind of stuff. It gives you guys, I guess, a little bit of insight into what we do on a daily basis and how we live our lives. It's a bit more insight on the, I guess, the little hidden details that not many people know.
Yeah, it's such a vast sport, and a lot of people don't even realize it's a sport, but there's just so much to know about it, and I hope that you learned a little bit more about what it takes to be a competitor and what our lifestyle truly entails. It's not just about looking good on stage. It's not just about having abs, being shredded. It's not just about being the best. It's, well, a little bit about being the best, but yeah, it's a lot deeper than just how you look.